Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Winning the Divine Lottery, where we get to create from the quantum field, fall in love with the mystical, and really step into realizing our inherent worthiness and create so much magic in our lives. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to be putting this also on YouTube and showing off my new hat that I got on my travels. I've had a summer filled with so much magic and so many miracles, and really meeting more of my brothers and sisters of my soul family. It's been absolutely transformational and incredible. I am still integrating from my last retreat in Tennessee. And this podcast is actually inspired by that. I feel like I've adopted like 17 new brothers and sisters. And so in this community that I'm a part of, I asked the question, I feel like I'm taking this podcast to the next level, like winning the divine lottery 2.0. So I actually asked in there, like, what questions would you like me to answer? What would you like me to hear me talk about? And big shout out to Ruth. Ruth, if you're listening, I love you so much. You're such a powerhouse. She actually posed this question. I was like, oh, this is a good one. I really wanted to dive into this and talk about this more. So she posed the question, how can we let our divine feminine be released through dance? And I did make some notes, y'all. So if you see me, if you're watching the video and you see me looking this way, it's because I'm just checking in with my notes, but still speaking from my heart and my soul and being in the moment and going with the flow of everything. And this question came up because I've been really stepping into a fuller self-expression. Dance has been a part of my life since I can remember, but there have been moments in my life where I have shut that part of me off in different ways.
Welcome to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm your host, Amy Dawns.
So what I really want to start with is whether you are female, male, or however you see yourself as, we have this divine feminine energy within us. And it's so important to develop a relationship with her, in my opinion. Take what you like and leave the rest. Since I can remember, was making up dances. Let me just, let's do that. For all you guys who can't see, I'm playing with like the angles of my hat, and because it's mirrored, I'm a little like, okay, there we go. Hello. It's angled, so I'm just playing with it. Anyways, having fun. I'm not usually one for wearing hats like this, but I fell in love with this one and another one. So, not to get off track, but I actually feel like this represents a lot of the divine feminine that I unleashed in Tennessee and since then and have been embodying. So, yay! I hope I inspire you. Anyways, since I can remember, I was making up dances in my living room. I just did. I love to dance. I loved music. My brother and I would actually make up dances in my living room. And I don't know if you guys are in the era to remember this movie, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But when I was younger, that was one of my favorite movies. And the part where Sarah Jessica Parker is standing in her school girl outfit with her skirt and her white knee-high socks. And she gets up there and she's like, a little nervous introducing herself, sharing a little bit about her family. But then there's that one moment, right, where she goes, and I love to dance. She just lit up, and I could see that. I got goosebumps when I said that. And I could resonate with her. I loved dancing. I loved the idea that my body could move in these ways that I saw in my imagination. And I was a way better dancer in my imagination than I was in 3D reality, and that's still true to the day. Um, I was in dance classes. I think part of this stems from I took ballet and jazz when I was younger, and I got pulled out of dance right before a recital. It was like a couple days, and I was so heartbroken around that. And I think I internalized that as not being good enough. And so I never truly believed or came across, I feel like, the right style of dance for me. And y'all, there's no excuses. I could go out there and find the right dance teacher and like throw myself in this. And I have thought about it many times and even um, went on this path of seeking. But I want to stay on topic here with Ruth's question, which is around how can we let our divine feminine be released through dance. So fast forward throughout my life, and I just never stopped dancing. I always made up dances. I entered every amateur night that you can think of in high school, and it didn't matter. Like I just liked moving my body the way it felt good to move. And I was one of those girls who had pictures of Carmen Electra hanging on her wall. To me, Carmen Electra was like the intention of what I wanted to be and feel as a woman, which was sexy and expressive and confident. And what ended up happening later on in my life, if you know these, Carmen Electra came out with striptease aerobics dance DVDs. I was just newly, no, I wasn't married yet, but I was with my husband to be at the time, and he was working on the road. And these DVDs came out, and I knew I had to have them because I had loved and adored Carmen Electra my whole entire life. So I bought these DVDs. He wasn't home. I put one of them in and I started dancing and doing her thing. And within a few minutes, I was bawling my eyes out. What I felt in my body at the time, I couldn't describe, but I felt this complete liberation of energy. Looking back, I know this now. It was like this complete liberation of sexual energy, of sensual energy, of that divine feminine energy that I had never felt before in my life. And it was so liberating that all of this trapped emotion came out of me, and I felt aliveness. I felt vitality. I felt joy for the body that I was in this expression. And I was hooked. I was obsessed right from the beginning. And when I get obsessed with something, all I want to do is dive into it further and then teach it. Like I want to share it with the world. So we ended up moving, and I had my personal training certificate, and I got a job at a gym. And I was talking with one of the trainers there, and she's like, why don't you just start teaching this? Like, there's nobody doing this here. You don't need a certification. Like, just start teaching it. And I was like, you're right. I don't need a certification. I've been making up dances my whole entire life. So why not? So I called it Divix Dance, and I began teaching my version and my self-expression of striptease dance aerobics. And I still remember my first class. I'm sure I had close to 20 people, if not a few more. And the oldest lady was in her 70s. And all I wanted to radiate was no matter what age, shape, size, body, no matter what your body's been through, that we all are worthy of feeling this way. We all, as women, get to feel this way. We get to feel alive and vital and sexy in our own skin, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. We are worthy. Okay, I really just have to fix this piece of hair. That's really okay. Maybe I'll be like Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman here. I'm getting so distracted by my hat that I'm wearing because I'm looking at myself recording this. Just laugh it off. Be with me. Woo! The hat episode with Amy. Okay. And I taught this, I don't even know how many years, a couple years, and then I ended up getting pregnant. And then my booty got too big. I literally knocked like a ghetto blaster. Do you guys know what those are? A ghetto blaster off the wall behind me because my booty was getting so big when I was pregnant. It was funny. Anyways, and then I had some physical things that happened with that, and I stopped dancing because my knee couldn't handle it. And there have been moments in my life where I've shut this part of me down. Now, I don't want to go so far into my story, but what I want to say is for those of us who have had sexual trauma in our lives, this is the part of us that actually wants to be liberated the most. And it's also the part of us that feels dangerous to liberate the most because sexual trauma is held so deeply in the nervous system that to feel sexy, to feel any of those things that could trigger feeling invaded or being in danger to somebody just wanting something from us with the wrong motives can feel really scary. And so our nervous system will go back into this fight, fight, freeze response. And so what happened to me in Tennessee was a part of this piece of me got liberated again in such a beautiful way. It was like there was this belief system that I held in my body around a certain body part that was just shattered in one moment by the most amazing, magical, mystical experience that I would have never imagined that showed up for me there. And I came home and I embodied her. I let her be here. And there was so many emotions, but those emotions were like power that wanted to be moved and expressed. And so I couldn't help but put myself in a space where I allowed myself to wear something that made me feel sexy. And my hair was wet after coming out of the shower. And I put on some music and I danced it out because I was feeling so much power, so much emotion that just wanted to move through me from like rage to sadness, you guys, all these trapped emotions that just kept coming to the surface and wanted to be liberated. Um, just wanted to be moved. And it was dance that was calling me into moving this energy in this way. And so there's so many things out there that you can Google. I'm not the master at ecstatic dance or pole dancing or the divine feminine. I'm only speaking to you through my own lens and my own experience of the divine feminine rising from within me through dance. And it's such a potent medicine because it's a dance between you and you. It's a dance between you and the most loving feminine aspect of you, the most expressed feminine aspect of you, like unapologetic, with no inhibitions, no limitations, there's no ego mind involved. It's just pure love for you, for who you're being, for everything that you've endured, for everything that you've overcome in your life, for every ooh, I'm gonna get real with you, for every single scar, stretch mark, lump, clump, bump, um, whatever it is on your body that you tend to completely use as a disassociation to separate you from your divinity. It loves up on that like you wouldn't believe. It looks through the lens of pure love and only adores you and admires you and cherishes you. Every single thing. And the thing is with women, as our bodies change, right? There's so much societal pressure on what that needs to look like. And y'all, I am I stand for possibility. I see these women who are aging like they don't even look their age. I effing love that. And I love that we can go through this process gracefully and hold space for one another because we all have hangups. We all have belief systems that we hold on to around what beauty is and how that changes as we age and grow and expand. And as our body, our body isn't meant to last forever. We know this, right? And in these moments that I've had with myself, there's just no separation. The ways that you've seen your body, the stories that you've told about your body up until this point that are disempowering and disassociating you from your divinity, your true self, the most loving part of you, aren't true. And that vanishes, and that is so soft in her presence. And by her presence, I'm talking about you. There's the you that thinks you need to look a certain way, and then there's a you that loves the way you look right now, with no makeup on, with your hair not done, with your legs not shaved, with your pretty parts not groomed, with your teeth not brushed, with your C-section scar, with that scar from that physically abusive relationship, with the pain in your body that nobody else can see, but you know it's there. Woo! This you loves you, accepts you, and sees you as whole effing purity. And that is what I've come into contact with through dance. And it's safe. It's safe. So one of the things that I love that I've come across, obviously in the last year, I think part of me never really being a master at learning dance moves, because I have a little bit of a brain body coherency thing. Like I can see dances and close my eyes and I'm like in it. But the minute I try to correlate like an instructive dance move, that's a whole other edge for me. And but if I can close my eyes and hear the music and feel the music and let the music move through my body, there is something so potent and poetic and beautiful about that. And the way I feel, which is liberated and free to express the way my body wants to express, that's called ecstatic dance. And that's probably my favorite form because there is no structure. There's only you meeting you and going beyond your edge, beyond your next limitation, beyond your thought that shows up and says, like, what are you doing? Why are you moving this way? Ecstatic dance for me is like coming home to me. And I absolutely love it. And ecstatic dance can be effing sexy. Like when I came home and I put on that music, I had this chair behind me and I didn't have a bra on. I was wearing these short shorts. My hair was still wet out of the shower. And I wasn't trying to portray something, but this is the energy. This is the power that was within me that wanted to be expressed in the moment. It can be both graceful and sexy. It can be fierce and look like joyful rage, and also like more intrinsic and almost like soft. There's no one way. And I think I'm speaking as a woman right now. I think that's the power of getting to be here in the 3D world as a woman is we are a portal to fuck yes power. We are a portal to fuck yes power because we are a portal to be able to experience every single emotion and sub emotion and sub frequency and I'm saying sub energies and sub um colors, different palettes of those emotions so fully that it makes us so fucking beautiful. And I know I'm going to have to put this as explicit because I was holding back on my F's, but I can't hold back anymore. We we're a portal. We are a portal to the divine because we can meet ourselves in the experience of being fully human. The beautiful thing about energy is all energy wants to be moved, not held captive. And we hold versions of ourselves captive. And when we do that, we hold the energy and the emotion around that version of ourselves and the story we've made up around that and the experience that we have that has that emotional intense trigger around it. We hold those versions of ourselves captive, um, versions of us that were induced by sexual trauma. We we lock that energy away. And that's what happened for me. Like the day I put that Carmen Electra DVD in was the beginning of unlocking the parts of me that were being held captive. And it's happened in layers. It's happened in layers. Our default when that trauma gets triggered, signals the gene expression, and the nervous system picks up on that pathway that's all too familiar to keep us safe, to save our lives, essentially. So it's not that it's wrong or right or good or bad. The release of our sexual energy can feel dangerous sometimes, as I was saying before, because as women, so many of us know that if we appear sexy and it's related to a sexual incident in our life, then we're prowl. Like we're a billboard that's lit up that says, come and take me, come and devour me, right? And it's from a very survival based place. But dance is so sacred and safe. It's something we can play with in the comfort of our own space. So if this is igniting and inspiring anything in you at all, I would say start small. Start in a room like this. Like my podcasting space is not that big. This is where I did my dancing. Close the door, dim the lights. Put on a song that moves you, that evokes something in you. Close your eyes and go within. This is really a meditative practice. It's so healing because it's just you and you. And allow your body to begin to move the way it's feeling called to move. And if you feel things come up, let them be there. Come from a place of such curiosity and love and grace and compassion for yourself. And meet yourself there. If you start to cry, let that happen. If you start to rage, get curious about that. And if you need to have a vocal expression, this is where it's safe. It's safe to scream. It's safe to roar. It's safe to allow whatever sounds need to come out of your body. That's like a primal thing. This is this is way more normal than we think because it's really just genuinely not accepted out there. Because if we did things like that out there, other people wouldn't feel safe and they would feel uncomfortable. But when you're in a space like this in your own home, it's so safe. And if you come up against pieces of yourself where you feel scared or you feel limited in some way and you feel like you can't let yourself go past there, I would say slow down, take a deep breath, and lean into it. And just be with that sensation or be with that emotion. I know from enough experience that the more intense something is, whether it's a thought or a feeling or a sensation in your body, that it's getting ready to leave. And in order for it to leave, do you know what it needs? It needs our love. It needs our non-judgment. It needs to be welcomed into our presence because our presence is so fucking powerful that it shines and emanates the light within us on it. It's like the darkness coming into the light and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And eventually the whole darkness gets lit up and there's no more darkness. So don't judge yourself for when this happens. And don't think that you're doing it wrong because you can't. You just can't. Like, remove that from your vocabulary and even your mindset. You can't do this wrong. There is an innate intelligence in you, this divinity, this feminine divinity It's there. It can't be wrong. It can't be done wrong. And for those of you who already do something like this and use dance and movement as a practice, there's so many other ways that you can play with this. And we're speaking about winning the divine lottery, and the divine lottery begins in the quantum field. And the quantum field is beyond time and space, and there is all potential and possibilities. So, as as a woman who has overcome sexual trauma in my life, one of the things that I've had to bring back is the falling in love with my nakedness. And yes, I am absolutely talking about my naked body and so much more than that, because it's the story I was telling myself around my naked body that was also being held in my nervous system, in my emotional body, and in my mental body, therefore in my bioenergetic field. And so to get comfortable being naked, first of all, just with me, was a process that I was willing to step into. And one of the ways to do that, if you're going to use dance as your practice, is to begin to be more naked. You don't have to be completely naked, but dance in your bra, dance in short shorts, dance in your underwear, dance in lingerie. Like there's just so many ways that you can play with this. Play in the thing that makes you feel sexy and alive, but maybe it's your edge too. Maybe it just makes you feel a little bit more uncomfortable, but I would only invite you to do that when you feel ready. This isn't you should do this. This is just an invitation to lean into what feels right with you in your heart and your body in the moment. And know that you're not doing this to prove anything. You're not doing this to prove that you're sexy or to prove that you can feel a certain way or look a certain way. This is about you showing up for you and being willing to cultivate a relationship with your divine feminine, which is absolutely whole and perfect already. And have fun with it. Try different songs on. Very often I don't have a pole in here, and I've done pole dancing, and it's no neither good nor bad for me. There was parts of it that was really, really hard for me, but I find when I'm in the flow of dancing, sometimes I use my chair, sometimes I use the wall. Like I don't think about it. I just allow and surrender to the movement, the sensation, and what's coming through me. I dim the light. Sometimes I light a candle, often sage my space or light some incense just to clear the energy before and after. Be willing. It can also look as simple as sitting down like I am now and just starting to get to know your body in a whole new way. You could start with your hair and just slowly and consciously feel what it feels like to touch your hair. Like right now, when I'm doing this so consciously with so much intention, I can feel it all the way up to the top of my head, and I can feel the hairs attached to my skull. And it feels loving, it feels nurturing. You can start, just gently caressing your shoulders. You can caress your legs. Like this. Sexual energy is life force energy. It doesn't have to do anything with sex or anything in the bedroom. We don't, that's only one part of the expression of sexual energy. Sexual energy is actually life force energy, which means it's life-giving. So this is about giving yourself life where you haven't been giving yourself life. And you'll know because it will feel a little uncomfortable and you might start crying and you might feel something new and something different and something shifting from within. And we are so worthy of giving ourselves life, loving ourselves back to life. So even though I'm speaking about dance, there are so many different ways that you can do this. You can do this through writing poetry to yourself. You can do this through making art. You can do this through getting really conscious when you're cooking your meals or making food and using your hands and being really intentional. There's just so many different ways that you can do this. But specifically through dance, how to awaken the divine feminine is to first know that it exists within you, to know how it sees you, whether you know this or not. Take this as like my belief in you or my knowing in you, because what's in me is in you too. And I, with my true colors, part of my business is I paint people naked, like actually their physical bodies naked as a part of this healing, beautiful transformation process. I've gone through it twice. And I got to the point where my first time, the way I viewed myself, the lens I was looking through was ugly, right? That was the limitation and the energy I needed to liberate from my body. Then the second time I went through this process, all I could see was me looking at myself through the eyes of God. It was pure love and joy. I was giggling and laughing and just was like, look at this beautiful woman just being expressive and having so much fun and playing, because that's the authentic me. All I could see was the authentic me. And that's how our higher self sees us. That's how God, the universe, our divine, the divinity within us sees us. I really don't have anything else to say but that. I love this question. I love Ruth. I'm giving you another shout out. um, I truly just want to pour my love into you guys. I want to take everything that I've been through in my life and overcome. And you know what? It's the greatest challenges for me have been the portal to my greatest liberation. And I'm not done yet. I got more. I have more. But the ones that I have liberated so far, what happens is when you liberate energy, what you're really doing is liberating love. Love just like bursts through you, seeps through every single cell of your being, and you look at that challenge in a way that it's like, wow, I so needed that. I would not have gotten to this moment in my life without it. And you just have so much love for the version of yourself that lived through that experience, because it brought you to here, to the liberation of energy where you could become more of that which you've already been your whole life: love, whole. And so that's all I want to do. I'm committed to love, and I just want to keep dissolving all the things that aren't that, so that I can pour more love into you, because we need each other. We need to love each other back into life. I have seen this. I got to receive this. I got to receive this on the Tennessee retreat in ways that would blow your mind. And I'm saying this because any desire of your heart, even if it's come from pain, even if it's come because of this challenge that just doesn't seem to go away, and you've tried so many things and tried to figure it out and do it all yourself, I am here to emanate divine possibility for you, that every single desire of your heart, guess what? It's already done. And that divine, the divinity within you, your higher self, God, the universe, loves you so much that it is giving it to you. But it will give it to you in the right time, in the right way, through the right people, in the right form. And that is the part that you need to let go of. That is none of your business. That's not up to you. Your part is to keep staying committed and devoted, to keep doing the inner work, and to keep surrendering, because you are not in it alone. You are here co-creating with the quantum field, with that unified field, and you are also here co-creating with me and everyone else. We're so here for each other. You don't even know how much we're here for each other. We are truly here to love each other back into life. We are. And the minute that you start loving yourself back into life, that's going to show up for you. You're just going to start drawing in your soul family and these people that are going to love you back to life. And it's going to catch you off guard, and it's going to feel like the divine swept you off your feet. And it's going to be the greatest love story that you've ever truly lived. And it's all happening between you and you. I love you so much. If this episode has inspired you, activated something within you, please share it with somebody else. That's how I get my words and my wisdom and my love and my compassion for possibility and out to the world. And that's all I'm asking, is if this moved you in some way, share it with somebody else. Because you never know. Sometimes it's one thing, you guys. Sometimes it's not even, sometimes it could be the hat, the hat part. Like, you just don't know. Even that was a little, I was judging myself in the moment. I mean, I still go through this thing. It could be the hat. I was like, oh, I love how this girl is so raw and real, and she doesn't care, and she starts talking about her hat and starts rambling. Woo! Another person, it could have been when I was talking about the sexual trauma. Like, you just don't know. So if you got activated in any way, I am asking you to please share this with somebody else and say, hey, listen, I just heard this. I felt something. Your name popped up. Please have a listen. That's how we help love each other back into life. Don't ever forget that your life is the divine lottery. It is, and what you do with it, and who you become in the process, and how you overcome, and how you meet your edge after edge after edge after edge, how you love yourself and others back into life is the winning. And I promise you, if you truly hear me in this moment, that your life is a lottery and that everything that you desire in your heart is already done, it's already here for you, and you can literally have it all, don't stop. Don't give up. Bet on you. I love you, and we'll see you next time.